What's up guys? So today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I spend 100 hours a week on my iPad, and the number one thing that I do is go on Pinterest and I shop on my little secondhand apps. Now I'm not really a big spender, so I'm not on here buying a new package every single day, but I do love to just search and save and curate and all of that stuff. So with the time I've spent doing this, I wanted to show y'all how to look up and find clothing on secondhand apps, because I'm big on thrifting, yes, but there is another way to thrift. And this is, if you're more of an online shopper and you don't like going into the thrift stores, this is a way to still find good pieces for very cheap, and you don't have to spend those retail prices. I'm really big on the fact that fashion does not have to be expensive. You don't have to break the bank to look good, to dress yourself, and to have style. The way people are charging for things now, you go on Instagram, you find a new little brand, you click on it, the hoodie is $200 damn dollars. Okay, I'm not paying that. When you can look up and find a higher quality, longer lasting, and as well name brand, but it just might be from somebody else's closet. And that's completely fine. There should be no stigma around that, honestly. And the way things are going now, with everything being plastic and polyester, you almost have to shop vintage and secondhand, because that is where all the quality is left. That's it. Like, you don't need $5,000 shoes, you don't need a $500 hoodie, you don't need to spend that much money to get the look that you're going for. And that's what I'm going to try and show y'all today. Okay, so with that being said, step one of this process is going to be finding what you want to buy. Now this, you can use Pinterest, which is my go-to, obviously. You can do Pinterest, or if you're not a Pinterest girl, you can use Instagram, TikTok, you can use your favorite celebrities. So just find some type of inspiration, and then we are going to be shopping based off that inspiration. So for me, I really want to shop for summer. I think the smartest thing to do is shop for the next season while you're in the previous season. That way, everything that you're shopping for, you know that you're gearing up to wear it. I think too many times we get into this habit of buying stuff and then just throwing it in the back of our closet and never touching it because we're not used to styling it, or we're not used to wearing it. Or sometimes we, buy stuff for winter when we're in summer, but you're not going to wear that for another 7 months. So you're going to forget about it. By the time it's time to wear that item, your style changed, you don't like that color anymore, maybe you gained some weight. It's just not very practical, in my opinion. So always make sure to shop for the next upcoming season. That way you're actually excited and you can actually wear the clothes that you're buying. So now we're going to take a look at my summer board and kind of pick some pieces that I've been eyeing, and I'm going to show you guys how to search them up and find pretty much identical pieces, or at least something similar to what you're wanting to buy. So I see some mini shorts here. This is one of the main things I want to shop for this summer. So first we're going to look at this inspiration picture, and we're going to kind of break it down and get very specific about what exactly the piece is. Right, so it's pink, it has a plaid pattern, it has buttons on it, and it looks like it's low rise. I love a low rise bottom. That's my preference. I don't have a very long waist, so I can't really do anything that's high rise, because once it gets a little bit of high rise, that's at my rib cage already. So I have very little room to work with, and that's why I prefer low rise if you're similar. But using that, we're going to Depop. And I'm just going to search up, we're going to start simple with plaid mini shorts. If you wanted to stick to just the pink, you can put pink plaid mini shorts, but I honestly don't really care about the color necessarily. I really like the pattern, and I know that putting plaid mini short will give me more colors like this that I wouldn't have been able to see if I just put pink. So right off the bat, I see these guys. I really like these. It looks like they're low rise. I really like the band at the top, kind of similar to the other shorts. So I'm gonna save these. $15, very cheap. And it has a nice little Y2K tag. So I love those Y2K tags. It just means that the material is probably a better material, probably much longer lasting. Vintage clothing just lasts so much better. They definitely cheaped out on the materials of clothing in the last few years, so that's another reason why I recommend secondhand shopping, because they just don't make clothes like they used to, and that's true. Though that is true, what's sad is that the prices aren't reflecting that. We're out here buying 100% plastic clothing, yet the prices keep going up. This is a way also to boycott that fast fashion. Don't let these corporations rip you off with these polyester clothing items. The same material that Zara is using to make their clothing is the same material that Shein is using to make theirs. Okay, but since we saved this item, I'm gonna like it as well. Liking items just gives the seller an opportunity to send out an offer to you. So if she really wants to sell the item, she'll send out an offer, and it'll send out to every single person who liked the item. Or, of course, you can always make an offer yourself. I would say 90% of the time I make an offer on Depop, it gets accepted. So do not be afraid to lowball. Do not. People are on Depop selling to make a little extra cash and to get rid of their clothes instead of just dropping it off at Goodwill. Okay? So a lot of these people, I know there's a lot of resellers who this is their whole paycheck, like this is what they do for a living. But a lot of people are just regular schmegular people wanting to get rid of their clothes. Next. I keep scrolling, see what we like. These are kind of cute. Okay, I really like these actually. I'm gonna save these and I'm gonna like them. Only $15 as well. Keep looking. I like these as well. But we're kind of getting into, these are kind of giving business casual. They're not giving the summery vibe that I wanted them to give. So let's go ahead and change our search. Let's go ahead and do low rise. Okay, this kind of gives us a little different vibe. Okay, these are kind of cute. Giving Easter. But these are super cute. I really like the color. I'm gonna save these. These definitely look like they're low rise. And they're super cute. So perfect. These are $50. Usually name brand is more expensive. It's still less than what you would pay for retail, most likely. If you like to thrift, it's something about the hunt, I think, is what makes thrifting so satisfying, is that you never know what you're gonna find when you go thrifting. And it's kind of the same on Depop. You never know what people are posting. If I go on in a week and I look up the same exact thing, it might be a whole new batch of clothing. Okay, this is kind of cute. Little swim shorts. Honestly, I would wear some little swim shorts as an outfit, for going out, or if it's a really hot day, maybe I'm going to the beach, just a little swim short and a tank top, and we call it a day. Cute. Let's try one last search because I kind of want the pink. The pink plaid. And you do have to search for a little bit, don't get discouraged if you're not seeing something that you like within the first little section, because people post all day long. They post from around the country. It just takes a little bit of looking around to find what you're looking for. So this is kind of cute. These are just pink shorts, but it's got a little plaid belt, and that's kind of cute. Okay, I feel like I would wear these, so I'm going to save these. And keep open-minded as well. We're using the picture as inspiration for a reason. We're not looking for the exact same piece. If I wanted the exact same piece, I could find it. What is it? La La Swim. Let's look that up. All right, here it is. Now, they're $82, okay? If I wanted to spend $82 on this clothing item right now, I could. But that's not the point, okay? The point is that, why are these shorts $82? Why? Why? We're not looking for the exact item. What we're looking for is to take inspiration from the item that you want and to make it your own. Making it your own as well kind of puts your own spin on it, because the things that are standing out to me probably isn't the things that are standing out to y'all. You're probably like, oh, why aren't you clicking on this item? Why aren't you clicking on that item? But that's the point. You like it. If you like it, guess what? You can go look it up and save the item and you can buy it, because everyone's style is personal. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is that you can put your own spin on items that you really like. So I'm just giving you my tips and tricks to help you guys best utilize these apps. Again, it's not about finding the exact item. It's about finding something similar and curating an outfit that is unique to you. All right, so let's move on to something else. I really need a new purse for the summer. I've been really struggling to thrift any purses recently. I don't know if that's because that's the first place people look when they go to the thrift store. But yeah, it's just not been working out for me. I really want a light blue bag, something like this, or something like this. I love the Chloe Paddington bags, but they're super expensive. But I just love the color light blue, and I think getting one in a purse would be super duper cute. Okay, so let's go over to Poshmark, because I think Poshmark has the best bag selection out of all the resale apps with the best prices. Change the search a little bit to say light blue buckle shoulder bag. This will just give me bags that have that extra little detail, that buckle detail. I love bags that have like charms, buckles, straps, any studs, anything like that to give it that extra little design. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna go to the filters, and I'm gonna actually filter it down to only $100. I feel like this will give us a lot better options that are in our price range, and you guys can see it's still a ton of options. This perfect Coach bag that was originally listed for $1,000, but they dropped it to $60. This is a perfect example on why I love Poshmark for bags, because all the aunties post their stuff on here and they will drop their prices so quick just to get that sale. And it doesn't look like anything is wrong with this bag at all. It looks like it's in perfect condition. Is actually one of my favorite purse brands. Another little tip is when you find a brand that you really like the design of, you can actually scroll down on Poshmark and it will show you other options from that same brand. Or you can just search up the brand on Poshmark and it'll give you a whole page full of them. Because usually if you like how the designer designs one bag, you'll probably like the other styles that they have. So let's move on to something different. I showed you Poshmark, I showed you Depop, and now we're going to talk about the RealReal. So this is a resale app that only sells designer and high-end name brand items. Every item that gets sent into this app goes through an appraisal process and then gets posted on here. This is a great app if you're into more like archival fashion or vintage designer. This is where you're going to be able to find that stuff super easily without looking through a bunch of mess. But what I like to use this app for is shoes. So I can't tell you how many times I've thrifted or bought on a secondhand app and I wear the shoes twice and they completely crumble underneath my feet because of shoe rot. That is one of the most devastating things ever, finding a perfect pair of shoes and they just are rotted out. Using an app like this just guarantees that the quality and materials are going to be super high. And because it goes through that appraisal process, you're not having to worry about if the shoe is past its expiration because that is something that they look at. So let's go ahead and look for some inspiration. Go back to my Pinterest. And I really want to look for some summer heels. So let's go to my heels. I know wedges are making a comeback and I've been saving a few. So let's try and look for some wedges today. These ones are super cute from Naked Wolf. But look at that, they're $450. So let's try and see if we can find something for cheaper. Go ahead and filter this to max 150. That just helps us stay within our price range. About the RealReal is that they'll put the estimated retail price on there if they know it, and I love that because I like knowing how much the item was originally worth, especially if it's designer. That's all I had for y'all. I hope you enjoyed watching me shop for a little bit, and I hope you learned some valuable information to help utilize these apps yourself and upgrade that closet.